Fenlon, we meet again. And again. And again.
I grow tired of your visits, cat.
As do I, you slut.
You are a slut.
You're a slut.
You are the slut.
Cat, ready to dance.
I'm always ready.
Fenlongo, I've missed our chats.
Shut up and fight.
Welcome to the mother. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. You may have heard injured champion Skye Nicolson is out of the MVPW 06 card in Birmingham, headlined by Michaela Mayer versus Chantel Cameron. That was intended to be Skye Nicholson's MVP debut. Now that she is being co-promoted by both them and Matchroom, Skye has been forced to withdraw from her scheduled bout with Miyo Yoshida on the MVPW 06 card late this month on the 29th with an injury. WBC Junior Featherweight champion Skye was set to make her debut with Jake Paul's MVP in Birmingham, England on the undercard of Mayer vs. Cameron unification bout on ESPN in the United States and Sky Sports in the United Kingdom. Yoshida will not remain on the card with a fight against Nicholson set to be rescheduled. The question is, who's going to be doing the rescheduling? Is it going to be MVP or is it going to be Matchroom? Nicholson signed with MVP last month following the announcement of a strategic alliance with Paul's promotion and Matchroom. I'd like to sincerely apologize to Miyo Yoshida and her team for this delay, Nicholson said in a statement. I have nothing but respect for Miyo, and I'm looking forward to finally sharing the ring with her before the end of the year. The positive news is, while I'm recovering, I'll be heading to Orlando this weekend for the MVPW 05 event, where I'm excited to support my fellow Aussie world champions and many other incredible athletes. A new date for my fight with Yoshida will be locked in very soon, and I can't wait to get back in the gym, back to full health, and back to doing what I love. Thank you to everyone for your continued support and understanding. MVP co-founder Nikisa Badarian said he hoped Nicholson's layoff would not be a long one. If she's planning on facing Yoshida before the year is out, there is still plenty of time to do it in the fall or winter months. The question is, whose show is it going to be on? Is it going to be on an MVP show or a Matchroom show? Because comparatively, MVP doesn't do as many shows as Matchroom, so they only have but so many opportunities to get their girls out there. Skye Nicolson has unfortunately been forced to postpone her MVP debut due to injury. We wish her a full and speedy recovery, Badarian said. We look forward to welcoming her back to the ring soon. The co-promotional situation with Skye doesn't seem to extend to Matchroom's other Valkyries like Molly McCann, Shannon Bryan, Tia May Ayton. The co-promotional situation. You know that Katie Taylor is set to retire next month. Sandy Ryan is said to be with child, and her future in the sport is somewhat uncertain. Matchroom doesn't promote as many women as they used to, and they aren't signing new ones. They're sharing Skye Nicolson with MVP. Are they going to share their other female fighters? Shannon Ryan, Tia May Ayton, Molly McCann? Or is that really just when it comes to Skye? Because there haven't been any formal announcements about a co-promotion when it comes to those other fighters like the one we saw with Skye. So who's going to be doing the rescheduling? Is it going to be MVP or is it going to be Matchroom? Because comparatively, MVP doesn't do as many shows per year as Matchroom, so they have only so many opportunities to get their girls out there. The fight. It's a winnable fight for Skye Nicolson. It always was. Miyo Yoshida is best described as a mid-range to inside volume puncher, albeit one with very slow feet. And if you can't keep up with Skye and keep on her, then you've already lost the battle. You've already lost the fight. Skye Nicolson, who moved down from featherweight down to super bantam, where the girls are a little bit smaller. Skye's long and limber for the weight. Long legs make for long strides, and we know that Skye knows how to beat those feet and keep the opponent at arm's length. Thus, I anticipate a vintage Skye Nicolson performance if and when she does face Miyo Yoshida, which could be in the fall or winter months. There's plenty of time left, and I think that Skye already fought once this year, so it's not a complete waste. When the year closes, she will have fought at least 2 times, which is more or less in keeping with her regular schedule. Wishing her a speedy recovery, and in spite of the delay, my prediction hasn't changed. Skye Nicolson, on points, is the pick. Men's welterweight news: Haney versus Paro talks begin after Keyshawn Davis opts out of title fight.
What I told you he was going to do.
That is according to a midweek update in Paro's homeland, with Fox Sports Australia reporting the 30-year-old's promoters, No Limit, have begun talks with Haney. Early suggestions are that it would take place on U.S. soil, meaning Paro would return stateside for the first time since a 6th-round stoppage over Montana Love in December of 2023.
I think you mean since a decision lost to Richardson Hitchens in 2024 on the island of Puerto Rico, which still qualifies as the United States, or part of it.
Now a 3-division world champion, Devin Haney, the 27-year-old, has seen proposed fights with Rolando Romero and 144-pound catchweight against Shakur Stevenson go cold this year. While Keyshawn Davis's back and forth has played out publicly in recent months, the WBO ordered him to face Keyshawn in his first title defense. Though the former WBO lightweight champion now sits at number 7 in the latest rankings update after withdrawing from contention following last week's purse bid, former title holder Brian Norman is back in the top spot, though Haney vehemently denied the possibility of an immediate rematch when the option was floated on social media.
Because of what I told you. Now that Brian Norman is at number 1, you can expect to see Keyshawn Davis fight him in the fall and winter months to set him up for the Haney fight next year, when they can revisit the fight and maybe get Keyshawn the kind of money he's looking for.
2-weight world champion Teofimo Lopez will face friendly rival Romero for his WBA title at Las Vegas' T-Mobile Arena later on this month on the 22nd, while former IBF junior welterweight belt holder Richardson Hitchens and Hall of Famer Manny Pacquiao are the next 2 contenders for Haney's welterweight title. Hitchens is nursing a hand injury after his shutout win over Ricardo Salas on his Zuffa boxing debut last month, while Pacquiao's handlers are monitoring the divisional landscape after a year-long absence. The day after dethroning Lewis Crocker to become Australia's second 2-weight world champion, Paro's trainer Angelo Di Carlo said they were open to all comers. No Limit chief George Rose hinted they were interested in luring Pacquiao back to Australia for a voluntary title defense.
I forgot about that.
9 years after his world title defense against Jeff Horn at Brisbane's Suncorp Stadium in July of 2017, what turned out to be one of the bigger upsets in the sport of boxing in the last decade or so. Everybody thought Manny was going to go in there and kill that guy.
Now, on that predication, the people at No Limit want to lure Manny Pacquiao back to the land down under to see if Liam Paro can't do the same. Liam showed the world that he's at the top of the tree in the welterweight division. He can take on anybody. All those guys are viable, and we're interested in. There's no one we'd say no to. I know the type of kid he is. He'll fight anybody, Di Carlo said at the time, though things change quickly, and a unification opportunity would trump that.
That being a Pacquiao fight.
The possibility is sweetened knowing both the WBO and IBF are on good terms as sanctioning bodies, given they're set for a 5-day unified convention in December at the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida.
WBO President Gustavo Olivieri's statement back in May described the December 9th through 13th gathering as a landmark initiative reflecting institutional collaboration, global unity, and a shared commitment to the continued advancement of professional boxing.
Who really wants to see Liam Paro fight Manny Pacquiao? I don't think there's an audience for a fight like that in the United States. Maybe in Australia, where they don't often get big names like Manny Pacquiao down there. Maybe they could go for that, but even they might be lukewarm to such a fight.
Has it already been a year since Manny Pacquiao's last fight with Mario Barrios? That old guy needs to just go sit down somewhere. Too many old guys hanging around the sport of boxing.
To get Manny Pacquiao down there, it would have to be no limit at the helm of the promotion, whereas here in the United States, if he fights Devin, that's a little bit more nebulous because Devin signed a deal directly with the platform, directly with DAZN, but I hardly think his DHP Promotions would actually be at the helm of the promotion. They're not putting any money up. They're not doing any legwork. They're not really promoting anything. I suppose that DAZN would have to assign that event a promoter.
That's part of the deal.
And in that situation, I believe that DAZN would assign Matchroom to promote that show because they've already promoted a good number of Devin Haney's fights when he was with them.
Devin wins that fight against Liam Paro. I like Liam Paro, a two-weight world champion who's a lot better than advertised, but as a welterweight, he's on the smaller end of the spectrum. Not as much room to fill out as Devin, who would be taller, longer, more athletic.
Devin wins.
Stylistically, it would be a repeat of the Richardson-Hitchens fight that Liam lost at 140. He would lose for the same reason at 147. He doesn't have the size, the punching power, or the persistence to keep up with and keep on Devin Haney, who's going to stick and move and keep him at arm's length.
Liam is too small.
You could see that in his last fight with Lewis Crocker. That was for the IBF title. Liam Paro was getting off some good shots, some good punches, but they weren't having any effect on Lewis Crocker, who was noticeably bigger, punched noticeably harder.
Liam is too small.
I picked Liam to win that fight, and he did, albeit by the skin of his teeth. Opposite the ring, Devin Haney, he loses a wide points decision. A win for Devin over another champion at the weight will move him up the Ring IQ pound-for-pound list.
Currently ranked at number 5, behind Shakur Stevenson and Bam Rodriguez. Say Devin fights Liam in the fall and beats him, unifies, he will move past Shakur Stevenson, who doesn't seem to have anything going on.
With Alexander Usyk, who's currently ranked at number 2, set to retire before this year is out, it looks a lot like Bam Rodriguez will ascend to the number 2 spot. Devin Haney will end up at number 3, Shakur at number 4.
There's going to be a vacancy left behind by Alexander Usyk once he retires. Somebody's going to have to fill that spot.
In any event, a Liam Paro fight is the fight I expected Devin to have now that he's not fighting Keyshawn, and it's a fight I expect Devin to win. But it won't be a barn burner.
You know what it's going to look like? It's going to look like Devin Haney's 2 fights with George Kambosos. It's going to look like Liam Paro's fight with Richardson-Hitchens. When you match a boxer-puncher against a pure boxer, even a very good one, it's got a very ho-hum aesthetic. Makes for an anticlimactic fight.
Liam Paro, as good as he is made to order for Heaven Daney.
So then why should he do it? Why should he fight him?
The money. The other big names at the weight, like Ryan and Rowley and Tio, aren't giving Liam the time of day. Not right now. They are otherwise preoccupied. Devin is available, and he would present the best value for Liam at this time.
The best money.
And what Liam's trainer said about Liam is true. That kid's a go-getter. He will fight anybody. Anybody dangerous, anybody out there. He beat the Puerto Rican fighter, Subriel Matias, the Puerto Rican champion in Puerto Rico. That's the kind of guy he is. So I think he'll accept this challenge for the money, because at worst, you lose a decision to Devin. He's not going to knock you out. As it pertains to Shakur Stevenson, who intends to make a welterweight move at his own pace and not someone else's, the 2016 Olympic silver medalist and 4-division champion doesn't plan on ending his career at 140 in terms of when he'll make the move up in weight. He isn't entirely sure.
Well, he needs to be because they're paying him a lot of money.
What he does know, however, is that his eventual welterweight journey will represent the last division he attempts to conquer. I think for sure I'm going to be at 147, Stevenson said during a recent interview. On the Cigar Talk YouTube channel, that's going to be the last weight class that I go to. Stevenson, 29, got his hands on the Ring Magazine and WBO Junior welterweight titles thanks to his win over Teofimo Lopez on January 31st in the main event of the Ring 6 at MSG in New York. Although he hasn't defended those belts just yet, Stevenson, 25-0 with 11 KOs, wants to make a semi-jump in weight to face Heaven Daney at a catch weight of 144.
Haney, the ring's #1 ranked welterweight and WBO champion, was initially ordered by the sanctioning body to face Keyshawn Davis, his #1 contender and former mandatory challenger. Davis removed himself from the process Friday, a day after his promoter, Top Rank Inc., won a purse bid, leaving Haney without a dance partner. It's been 8 months since the 27-year-old Haney fought. The three-division champion started his welterweight title reign thanks to a UD win over Brian Norman on November 22nd at the A&B Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Weight continues to be a sticking point in a possible bout between Haney and Stevenson. When it comes to fighting at the welterweight limit of 147, Stevenson knows he'll get there at some point. For now, he won't let Haney or anyone else push him higher in weight than he wants to compete. I would fight the dude, but why do I have to go to his division? Stevenson asked. I'm gonna get there. I think Shakur Stevenson is more trouble than he's worth, and in more ways than one. Currently, he doesn't want to fight Rayo. He doesn't want to fight O'Shaquie Foster. Reportedly, he's not interested in unifying his own division either, but he doesn't want to fight Devin at 147. It has to be at 144, which would seem a reasonable request given that he only just arrived at 140 to then move up to 147, except he's the one who said that he would be willing to fight Conor Benn at a full 147. He's the one who said that, to then follow it up with, I need a catch weight for Devin, I need a catch weight for Ryan. Guy's playing hard to get when he's really hard to want. So I don't know what Zuffa Boxing is going to do with this guy. The only saving grace for them is the money to pay Shakur. It's not coming from Zuffa TKO, it's not coming from Paramount, it's coming from Turkey on Zuffa's behalf. So however much money he wants to burn, wants to waste, go ahead. But the whole hullabaloo was supposed to be that Zuffa Boxing is signing the somebodies in the sport, and they're doing that, but who are the somebodies supposed to fight? When you're dealing with American fighters like Shakur Stevenson, it's always a headache. Don't you see that? American fighters are the most difficult fighters to deal with, the most difficult fighters to promote simultaneously, the most expensive. And what are you getting for your money? I'll tell you what you're getting. A guy who doesn't want to fight Rayo, doesn't want to fight O'Shaquie Foster, doesn't want to unify his own division, doesn't want to move up to 147 unless it's for Conor Benn, then he'll do it. But the rest of the time, he needs a catch weight. That's what you're getting. That's what you're paying for. What a fucking waste. I acknowledge that Shakur Stevenson is a pound-for-pound fighter in his own right, very talented, very effective at what he does, even if it's not always entertaining. I acknowledge all of that, but I could go the rest of my life without ever seeing him fight again. It's not that serious. It's never going to be that serious about a fighter like Shakur. He's not an electrifying fighter. He's not a crowd pleaser. And for the money he's getting, he himself should offer up more in terms of answers as to what the immediate future holds. Because I don't know what he's about to do. We know what he's not about to do. He's not about to go up to 147. Okay, you're staying at 140. So who at 140 do you want to fight? And I don't think he wants to fight the way he's being such a picky eater about everything and everyone. It just gives me the impression, does this guy even want to fight?